epic, cinematic, realistic jungle savanna in the heart of the African savanna. Where the sun beats down with relentless fury, a drama of life and death is about to unfold. The air is thick with the scent of dust and dry grass, a stage set for a primal conflict. Here, survival is not a choice. It is the only law, a brutal and unforgiving mandate etched into the very soul of this ancient land. The players in this epic struggle are masters of their domain, honed by generations of conflict and hunger. On one side, a formidable pack of African wild dogs. Their painted coats a chaotic masterpiece of nature's artistry, a living, breathing embodiment of collective strength. On the other, a solitary leopard, a ghost in the shadows, the epitome of stealth, power, and deadly precision. Their paths are converging, drawn together by the inescapable forces of territory and sustenance. What follows will not be a mere skirmish, but a desperate, violent ballet for the right to see another dawn. This is the raw, unfiltered essence of the wilder fight for survival. The wild dog pack, a cohesive unit of over a dozen individuals, moves with a singular purpose across the parched earth. Their large, rounded ears swivel like radar dishes, capturing every subtle sound, while their keen eyes scan the horizon for any sign of opportunity or threat. They are driven by an insatiable hunger, a collective stomach that demands constant appeasement. Their hunting strategy is a marvel of coordination and endurance. A relentless, high-speed chase that can wear down even the most powerful of prey. They communicate through a complex series of yips, chirps, and body language. A silent and spoken dialect that binds them together as one formidable organism. They are a family, a dynasty of hunters, and their bond is their greatest weapon. Each member, from the alpha pair to the youngest yearling, plays a crucial role in the pack's survival. Today, their patrol has led them to the edge of a sparsely wooded territory, a mosaic of acacia trees and rocky outcrops, the favored hunting ground of a very different but equally lethal predator. Lurking within the dappled shade of a marula tree is the leopard. She is a vision of concealed power, her rosetted coat a perfect camouflage against the shifting patterns of light and shadow. Unlike the dogs, she is a creature of solitude and stealth. Her muscles, coiled like powerful springs, speak of explosive strength. She is an ambush predator, relying on patience, surprise, and a final devastating burst of speed. Her world is a vertical one. She is as comfortable in the high branches of a tree as she is on the ground, a skill that provides both a vantage point and a safe haven. This particular female is a seasoned survivor, her territory marked by the scars of past battles and the scent of her own powerful presence. She has recently made a kill, a young impala, and has expertly hauled the precious carcass high into the boughs of her arboreal fortress. Far from the reach of ground-dwelling scavengers, or so she believes. The tantalizing scent of fresh blood, however faint, has not gone unnoticed. It drifts on the breeze, a siren call to the ever-hungry, ever-roaming wild dog pack. The first sign of intrusion is a subtle shift in the air. The leopard's ears twitch, her golden eyes narrowing as she detects movement in the tall grass below. The wild dogs have picked up the scent. They fan out, their painted bodies weaving through the undergrowth, a silent, encroaching tide of mottled fur. Their initial approach is cautious, their heads held low as they sniff the ground, piecing together the story of the kill. The alpha male, larger and more confident than the rest, lets out a low, excited yip, and the pack's energy instantly shifts. The hunt is on, not for live prey, but for a prize already won. They converge on the base of the leopard's tree, their collective gaze fixed on the dangling impala carcass. Their chirps and whines escalate into a chorus of frantic excitement, a cacophony of frustrated desire. They leap and bound against the trunk, their claws scrabbling uselessly against the rough bark, their objective just out of reach. High above, the leopard watches the frenzied scene with a mixture of fury and alarm. Her kill, the reward for hours of patient stalking, is under siege. A low, rumbling growl emanates from deep within her chest, a guttural warning that reverberates through the branches. This is her territory, her prize, and she will not relinquish it without a fight. The dogs, emboldened by their numbers, ignore her threats. Their persistence is their strength. They are masters of attrition, capable of wearing down any opponent through sheer, unyielding pressure. The leopard knows she cannot stay in the tree forever. Sooner or later, she will have to descend, and when she does, she will face the full, unified fury of the pack. The tension is palpable, a static charge in the air. The dogs continue their relentless harassment, a psychological warfare designed to break their opponent's nerve. The standoff stretches into a grueling test of wills. The sun climbs higher, baking the landscape and sapping the energy of all involved. But the wild dogs do not tire. They take turns resting in the shade, while others maintain the siege, a seamless rotation of pressure. The leopard remains perched above, a solitary queen trapped in her castle. She snarls, bearing formidable canines, her tail lashing back and forth in agitation. She is weighing her options, calculating the risk. To descend now would be suicide, a direct confrontation with a dozen sets of powerful jaws. But to remain is to risk losing her meal and potentially being trapped until nightfall, when other, even more dangerous nocturnal predators might be drawn to the commotion. Her patience, the hallmark of her hunting prowess, is wearing thin. The relentless taunting from below is a grating assault on her solitary nature. Finally, driven by a combination of frustration and territorial rage, she makes her move. It is not a full descent, but a calculated, aggressive gambit. With a terrifying roar, she launches herself down to a lower branch, positioning herself just above the seething pack. The dogs recoil for a split second, startled by the sudden, explosive movement. This is the moment of confrontation. The air erupts into a whirlwind of snarling, snapping chaos. The leopard, using the height of the branch as a tactical advantage, swipes down with a paw armed with claws like razors. She connects with one of the younger dogs, which yelps in pain and scrambles back, blood welling from a deep gash on its shoulder. The pack, momentarily stunned, immediately whoops. The injury to one of their own has not intimidated them. It has ignited their collective fury. They redouble their efforts, leaping higher, their jaws snapping inches from the leopard's face. The alpha male, a veteran of countless battles, leads the charge, attempting to get a purchase on one of the leopard's dangling hind legs. The fight becomes a frantic vertical dance of death. The leopard is a whirlwind of defensive fury, her roars mixing with the high-pitched, frenzied calls of the dogs. She is fighting not just for her meal, but for her life. A single mistake, a moment of lost footing, would send her tumbling into the waiting maelstrom below, where she would be torn apart in seconds. She strikes again and again, her powerful forelimbs a blur of motion, landing blows that send dogs yelping and retreating, only for them to be replaced by another eager member of the pack. She is outnumbered, but her individual power and ferocity are immense. She is a cornered monarch, fighting with the desperation of a sovereign defending her realm. They are a fluid, relentless force, attacking from all angles, forcing the leopard to constantly shift her position, to defend against a dozen threats at once. It is a battle of one against many, of focused power against overwhelming numbers. The leopard's growls become more ragged, her movements slightly slower. The sustained effort is beginning to take its toll. The dogs sense this flicker of weakness, and their attack becomes even more frenzied. They are a living siege engine, designed to break down the defenses of any fortress, whether it be a fleeing antelope or a cornered predator. The alpha dog lunges again, this time making contact, his jaws briefly clamping onto the leopard's tail. She lets out a scream of rage and pain, twisting violently to dislodge him, nearly losing her balance in the process. It is a critical moment. The pack surges forward, sensing victory is near. The delicate balance of power has shifted. The leopard, realizing her position is untenable, must make a choice. Continue a losing battle for her kill or save herself. With a phenomenal leap, she springs from her embattled branch, not towards the ground, but upwards and across to an adjacent, taller tree. She flows up the trunk with astonishing speed and agility, putting distance between herself and the ravenous pack. The dogs, their immediate threat gone, turn their full attention to the prize. And with their combined weight and effort, they pull and tear at the carcass until it crashes to the ground. A feeding frenzy ensues. The pack descends upon the impala, and in a blur of snapping jaws and torn flesh, the kill is consumed in a matter of minutes. From her new, safer perch, the leopard watches as her hard-won meal vanishes. She is defeated but alive. Her body aches and fresh wounds mark her beautiful coat. The wild dogs, their bellies full, slowly disperse, their chaotic energy replaced by a satisfied lethargy, and the memory of this brutal encounter will sharpen her instincts, making her an even more cautious and formidable predator. In the unforgiving wilderness of the savannah, every encounter is a lesson, and every survivor carries the scars of their education. The sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the land, and the eternal, bloody cycle of life and death prepares for another turn.